Welcome to this coffee chat. Today we're going to talk about something that I've noticed as I've been more engulfed and woven into the coffee content creator life. And that is how social media is giving a skewed image of coffee brewing. I just see so many interesting parallels right now between coffee brewing and makeup and beauty. So what do I mean by this? Well, right now when you look up your favorite coffee content creator and they explain their cups of coffee and what they're tasting and if it's a good or bad cup of coffee, how many times have they said that it's a good cup of coffee and amazing and delicious and juicy and great extracted, and compare that to how many times they've said that it's a bad cup of coffee. And I want you to just keep a mental note or thought about the ratio between good and bad, because from what I've seen, it's like 95% good, stellar, amazing cups of coffee, and then 5% like, oh, I failed, or this cup is horrible. And I think that spectrum is really too black and white for what a coffee journey really is. And the reason why I'm linking this to makeup is because on social media, you only see the cream of the crop of the presentation of the content creator, meaning they've taken 2 hours to prepare their makeup and they only represent and show the best side of them, which is this fully fake facade, which is their social feed. And I feel like the same issue here is with coffee, because we're only showing the best cups of coffee or putting up a facade that we're only drinking good cups of coffee, when the reality is that it's a constant iterative journey and not all of your cups are good. That's the reality. I feel like it undermines that journey of really getting a good cup of coffee. So I wrote down the percentages of what I think most people are showing on social media right now. So it's around 90% or 95% really good cups of coffee with stellar tasting notes, and I tasted this and that and it was a really good cup of coffee, and 10 to 5% of the, oh man, this was a really bad cup of coffee and I should have done something a bit different here. But in my opinion, looking at my own cups of coffee, I would say that the range goes more like this. So it's 5% really bad cups of coffee, and then it's 60% exploration. These cups were not great, but they are slowly pushing me towards a really good cup of coffee, but I know that there can be improvements in these cups of coffee. And then it's around 30% pretty good cups of coffee. So I enjoy it. It's a solid cup and I wouldn't be annoyed if a cafe served me one of these cups of coffees. And then it's around 4% great cups of coffees. So yeah, this is really coming close to the potential of the beans that I have. And then there's the 1% godlike cups that align the coffee beans when they're perfectly roasted and you brew it and the cup is just so amazing and it just blows your mind. That's the 1% that I am always striving towards to get. And I feel like that this 1%, for a lot of content creators and people who are posting on social media, they take this 1% and they make most of their good cups of coffee seem like that 1% really good cup of coffee, which is just really downplaying that journey that you need to take to get to a really good cup of coffee. Yeah, sometimes it can just be a mediocre cup and that's okay too. And bringing it back to makeup, it just sets up a really high standard that people can't live by anymore. Meaning, when you're scrolling through social media and see everyone's top-notch life and how they look like with all of their makeup, their best times, their travels, their best angles, and so on, your mind becomes so skewed by that perception that suddenly you think that that's the norm because that is all you're seeing. And you suddenly strive to be someone else's like perfection that they've carefully curated for social media. But that's just not feasible. And I think that the same thing is here with coffee, where we only see a lot of top-notch cups of coffee being showcased or talked about in a very high-level manner, but there's a lack of this failure, the struggle, this exploration within coffee that every single coffee content creator out there is having but is not fully showing. And I'm for sure guilty of this too in the beginning of my coffee journey, where I just share my best cups of coffee, and if I have a bad cup of coffee, I don't even bother sharing it. But recently I've been live streaming a lot where I showcase a big chunk of the cups of coffee that I brew with a bag of beans, and seeing those ups and downs and changes that I make to then try to get a better cup of coffee just gives you a better perspective of what to expect in the world of coffee. And it's a bit more raw for sure, but it's just a more honest view of the craft of coffee. It is a lot of exploration, it is a lot of failure, and it is a lot of mediocre cups. But you have to trek through those struggles to then get to those really delicious cups of coffee. So that's something that's been on my mind. What are your thoughts on this topic? Do you think that social media is kind of skewing the process of coffee brewing? Or do you think that I'm wrong and you see a lot of failures and exploration and nuance within the coffee creators that you follow that do showcase the struggle of bad cups, mediocre cups, good, great, and godlike cups? I hope you have a great day. Totoro and I say ciao. Take care.